So today we want to talk about this final overtime rule that Department of Labor put out. So how would that affecting you, small businesses? So allow me to share my screen with you, so we can you can hear me at the same time, and we also can see the slides. I don't see my slides right here. All right. So first of all, and as you know, a lot of you are coming to the webinar. You already know our firm. For those new ones, I want you to know our firm has 27 years history. We have over 12,000 clients worldwide. So we're accumulating some real American-made businesses here. So immigrants coming into this country and doing business, a lot of them are here with us. And we have 4 branches, and we have 4 branches. We're working on the 5th one, which is the Houston, Texas one, and it's supposedly open in June of 2024. We're still trying that date, but if not, it will for sure open this year. This would be our number 5 expansion. And our firm, I actually served on National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel, which is a federal advisory committee to IRS for 3 years. So I have 2 books on the market. You can find them on internet. Appointment with Ying at 8 a.m., starting up a business. Appointment with Ying at 10 a.m., growing your business. I am in the process of creating the 3rd book, which is 2 p.m. That is Appointment with Ying at 2 p.m. for expanding your business. So look forward to that book, and I'm diligently working on it. Obviously, when I write a book, and I want to have that experience with myself as well, not just my client's experience, right? So I obviously am working on expansion for Houston, Texas branch. So that will come into my book with a real footprint of how a company can move from A to B and to C and D, right? Different locations. And no responsibility disclaimer, as always. You want to take our knowledge into yourself and study that, understand it, or engage our firm for a professional service and consultation. So that is when you can land your footstep on a solid ground, knows that you're doing it right? So you don't want to hear what your friends is doing, what your other business owners is doing. You know, I have a business owner coming to us, goes, well, Ying, I can do whatever you said, but my friend has been doing this for years, never got into the trouble. How do you explain that? Of course, there are going to be people who did certain things not right, but wasn't discovered, so they get by. Congratulations to those people. I mean, quote unquote. But they're lucky, right? But you may not have that kind of luck, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say that the best luck you could get for yourself is to do things according to the rules and understand the rules. So this is the one that we're going to talk about today, Fair Labor Standards Act. And in short, they call that FLSA. There's so many acronyms in this country. And if you're not confused, you're special. And I am not good with acronyms, but I call right now in this slide, I'll call the act, because we're talking about this specific one. This specific one is an 80 years old act, okay? It's nothing new. And it started in 1938, where 25 cents per hour hourly minimum wage was established. But of course, today is 7.25, right? 44 hours a week. That is established before. Now it is 40 hours per week. After that, and you got to pay overtime. That is what this Fair Labor Act is doing. Of course, there's more content to it. For example, a band 14 years old or younger to work, to be an employee. So you can be. Of course, there's a more minor point saying that if it is, sole proprietorship, partnership, you could. But let's just say, if you're not 15 years old, you should not be an employee. This act banned you from doing that. And of course, with life change, expectation change, political leaders are changing residence from White House to Black House, whatever they do, and those acts will change. The same, because of all these environmental change, so these acts will update. So now we're talking about this update right now, starting from July 1st, 2025. So Fair Labor Standards Act, generally speaking, is an act to protect workers and regular business owners to meet the government orders. Overtime pay protection are included in this act, right? It's a 40 hours a week. And you're gonna be looking at a week, 40 hours. If it is over, you pay 1.5 times of their regular rate. And most of the small business would have employees who are paid on a fixed salary. You know, I would give you example of a nail salon. You probably have your nail technicians are on hourly, but you yourself or some managers you hired on fixed salary. These new rules will increase the minimum salary. It will say that how much of a salary you have to give. So the person don't have to get overtime. Otherwise, they are hourly employees. So that's what really is going on right now. And this is July 1st of 2024. So look at these ones. This is the definition of what type of people, what type of employee and would be subject to this. So non-exempt. All your kitchen's employees, all of your waiter, waitress, all of your retail store cashiers, people like that, they are non-exempt. They're covered employees, must receive overtime pay, must. So, you know, we have some business owners wanting to do payroll on the monthly basis. Oh yeah, I'll pay everybody monthly and this is how much they get paid. But you must know that 40 hours is calculated on the weekly basis. Yes, you can pay monthly, not a problem, but you got to break down your week to make sure that there is no 41 hours in 1 week, because that 1 hour gonna equal 1.5 hours, because that is a overtime pay rule and stipulated by the government. You know, we can always argue that how much government's arm can reach to the private sectors. You know, do you want the government to decide everything we do, and how much you want the government to input? So, but right now, this 40 hours and 1.5 overtime, that has been the rule for a long time, folks. So it is not up to debate. It is the act. It is the law, right? But you also have what we called covered employees. That's the definition they have. So they have non-exempted, they have a covered employees. Annual sales of that business is 500,000 and more. What that means is that if you are covered employers, if you are employer has your total sales, your revenue over $100,000, and you are an employer, must follow through all of these rules. So they do have, employer smaller business lower than 500,000. In our business, in community CPA, we don't see a lot of business owners and making under 500,000. Partially maybe because of our clientele, then we see them making more, so they are actually needing to know these overtime rules. But if you are smaller employer, and know that you have, your rule could be different, you want to engage your CPAs and your business consultant, your attorneys to really understand where you are. And because we have seen tendencies on DOL audit a lot. So I am speaking this from what we view. You are one business. You only know yourself and your friends and relatives, and you don't know how the trends are going on the market. And community CPA is at a place can speak about trends because we do have the data. Exempt employees are those white collar exemptions, means that they work overtime, they don't get paid. So those employees are the one that this new law, this new rule from DOL is trying to cover. The DOL is saying that if they make too little, please don't make them a salary. They should go for hourly employees so they can get overtime pay. So there's another category, the category called EAP, Executive Admin Professionals. These are your kind of your general white collar people. And for community CPA, for example, our whole firm is professional. So we are under this new rule, and we need to meet the new standards. Okay, so HCE office employee perform at least one of the EAP duties or responsibility. So they would say, example will be this person, manage 2 people. So all of these one has a new standards. So the new rules, see this. I know my picture is covering certain things. Let me see. I am going to make that a little smaller so you can see these ones. So current rule 2019, and for the exempted employees, okay. So this is $35,568 per year if you pay that much, and they will work whatever needed. There is no overtime. So HEC threshold is that as well. In my clientele with our small business owners, we don't really have a lot of HEC, but I know that most of the small business, you do pay someone on the salary, and you are classifying that person as an EAP employee. So you are, subject to that $35,568 and in 2019. But this new rule on July 1st of 2024, we're going over there, right? So we're in May, so that is coming up very soon. So those employees, if their annual salary is under $43,888, and you need to turn them into hourly employee. Make sense? So January the 1st, it will be another jump. So if you're not paying them over $58,656, and you need to turn them into hourly employee, pay their overtime. And after July 1st, 2027, because this new law says that it will automatically increase without talking to you. So it set that in motion. So then it will reset the rate based on whatever credential they're going to use. If they use inflation, then you are looking at maybe about $10,000 increase again. So this is what the new rules is all about. So now let's kind of give you some understanding of these new rules. I am moving my... Okay, hold on. I'm moving my slides. There you go. So effective on July 1st, 2024, the salary would go up, right? It's $844 per week, but it is $43,888 per year. So small business owners who hire managers and the salary employees, if the employee was paid less than $43,888 a year, and you want to make sure that starting from July 1st, you will need to work with your payroll provider, your payroll provider who run your payroll to change the payroll method from salaried employee to hourly. And you want to start tracking their time. You want to, if you don't have any tracking system, just go buy a punch clock. Have them punch in and out, and like a regular hourly employee. That sounds so, it's just really wrong. It is really wrong to move your managers to the other hourly level. But that's what the government is asking. This is the new rule. All right? So make sure July 1st is one threshold. Then, of course, January 21, 2025, at that time, you would already did tax planning, everything with us if you're our client. So we would consider that for you. And we know that the salary need to go up again. Then you need to figure out what to do, because that's a $58,656 a year that you need to budget for 2025 for your employee to not need to punch clock. They will just work what they work. They work 40 hours or 50 hours. It doesn't matter, because they are exempt employee, right? So with that said, you understand the new rule. The very last one is the one I mentioned. If this rule is going forward, then it's readjust the rate every 3 years. So in 2028, your salary for that same employee would go to 63,935. And if we based on inflation rate, I did an assumption on inflation rate about 9% over the 3 years. I think I'm very conservative in that ratio. I mean, how many times did you feel the inflation rate was a lot higher than the 3%, 4% the government right now is talking about every time you go shopping, right? So that is really the work that the actuarial scientist is doing for the government. They tell us it's 3 to 4%. So we go by that. And if I calculate it by that, and your new salary would be close to 64,000 a year to have someone work in the as a salaried employee. So I then come up with this for you, my dear. If you could look at my next slides. John Smith is your employee. Right now, he's paid $50,000 to manage the shift of the restaurant and do paperwork for your business, right? So he's your employee. And he has a lot of benefit from your company: health insurance, short-term, long-term disability, dental vision, all kind of things. So on top of that, you allow John Smith and in and out as he wanted, and he work as he needed. He works some long hours, some short hours. You don't care because he's your manager and he is your his salary. On July 1st, 2024, it will still be okay to keep him at the same salary because he's minimum wage. He's above minimum wage, right? 43, whatever they were talking about. And on January the 1st, 2025, you would have to increase him to 58,656. That's minimum. Or otherwise, you would need to make him punch your time card. And you know it will hurt this employee so bad as you are treating him like a hourly employee once he's punching, right? As he sees it as a demotion, don't you think he will see it as demotion? And then he will no longer can have flexibilities in terms of in and out because the overtime is counted for 40 hours a week. So you will be paying him 40 hours a week. So if he is saying like, this week I'm not busy, I'm going to work next week a little hard. If he's a salaried employee, it's okay to do. But if he's an hourly employee, no. Because he works short, he will get paid. And because, he works what he works. But if he works more, 1.5. So he cannot have the flexibility and once he had. And about the increase of 18,000, and you may just not have that in your bottom line, then it is time to rethink of how you're going to budget your business, and maybe reducing benefit to the employee is the way to do it. And everybody is different. So I really would want you to know the rules so you know what you're facing, okay? And in 2028, his base salary will grow again. So look at that person, making sure that it can grow with the expectation of the salary you're going to give to him. Possible history repeat. All right, this is a very significant slide I'm giving you. So every law comes out, people can challenge it. Let's look at what I have here for you. President Obama's DOL deal in 2016. The final ruling came out on December 1st, 2016. Just like right now, it came out. Okay, this is a final ruling. It is the law. So DOL pull it out. So we just talked about what it will be on July 1st, what it will be on January the 1st, right? So that happened before in 2016. And December 1st, President Obama made that a final rule. And but at that time, the minimum wage was 476. And right now it's 48, right? 43,000. So at that time, they raised higher. At that time. And then on November 22, 2016, okay, there is a federal court in Texas ordered injunction, disagree. So the President Trump took office on January 20th, 2017. So August 31st, 17, the federal court, Texas, struck down DOL's 2016 ruling. And, the Texas court goes, no, I don't agree. And then there was no appeal. So President Trump, DOL did not appeal. So that ruling kind of dormant. It went away. Even though on December 1st, 2016, it should be coming to take effect, but on August 31st, 17, and it was struck down and it never came back to life. Okay, of course, it depends on who is the resident of the White House, right? So legal challenges are possible even for this one that just come out. So I want to give you 3 pointers here. The Associated Builders and the Contractors, called ABC, openly opposed the new final rule and said that they're going to sue. Okay? And on September 28, 2023, a federal court, Texas federal court, in Mayfield, held that the DOL has no right, they have no business in determining the salary minimum. Yes, they have some business in making sure the 7.25 is minimum wage, but the Mayfield, Texas court basically ruled that they don't, basically saying that they have no business with that. And this was appealed into the Fifth Circuit Court. The Fifth Circuit Court is one of the federal court, right? There's a, number of them, maybe 13 of them. And so the Fifth Circuit Court is pending on decision, so they did not say yes or no. But that issue is there. September 28, 2023, last year. And so this is already in court to say that DOL has no business to tell the private businesses how they're going to make salary pay. DOL's 2024 final rules and give 2 steps, right? July 1st and January 1st. So they're raising it higher to January the 1st because they were $913 a week before, back in 2016. So now the DOL take 2 steps. They give you a lower one than the 2016 in July 1st this year. Then they raise it to be higher. And then 3 years later, higher and higher. So that's what DOL is doing. And the DOL is placing those by steps for a purpose. So if the court struck down the January 1st, they at least accomplish right now for what we have on July 1st, right? So the reason I talk about it, I just want our business owner, our small business owner to understand that, the rule and regulations are very complex, right? They came out and they put on our head and you're going to do this. And then the court is fighting over it, and it could possibly be not there. So what does that teach the small business? Are we going to right now maybe fire some people so we can make our salary right? And what do we do? What do you do? And I want to say that you at least knowing what's going on and making amend with your business based on the trend of what the government is doing. So whether it's going to be challenged in court or not, we don't know. But let's say July 1st is coming up, so we can at least making sure we get July 1st prepared, right? And so now I want a small business owner. I'm calling every small business owner to review your overtime pay matter with your CPA, with your attorney, with your whoever. Just make sure you are in compliance. So there's 4 steps you're going to do. Number 1, you want to identify who is exempt, who is not. In restaurant, I would say you should have no one exempt. The monthly pay to a cook, wrong. Should not happen. I know what you are doing, and I know your debate, but to be safe, to not end up working so hard and the government come smash you to the ground. Small business are too easy to kill. It's easy to kill. The big business is too hard to kill, all right? So with small business, you're so vulnerable. and you want to make sure that you have done it right from beginning. One of the benefits to do it right from very beginning, that would set you kind of your running platform. And if you started your business by doing everything wrong, it is difficult to turn the business around to match up to the standard. But if from first day you do business, you're doing it right, you get used to it, you feel comfortable with it, your employee knows what you're doing, so things will go a lot smoother for you, and I promise you. So I always challenge our small business owners that before they come to our firm, they might be doing something really creative out there I would not articulate. But when they come to our firm, we always tell people that, it is obviously your decision to do it which way. But the decision you make has a very long impact to the longevity of your business, to the legacy of your name. If you're running a business, wanting to be bigger, wanting to grow, wanting to one day become Microsoft and, just have this legacy, and you need to start from the right footing. And this is where we say that government rules, it doesn't matter I like it or not, okay? It is regardless I like it or not, or regardless of you like it or not. And the idea is you understand it, you implement it, and you make sure your business is still ahead. That is the goal of what you're doing, right? That is why we say make sure you know who is exempted, who is not in your business. If you are in the restaurant business, I cannot see how you can have exempted overtime people. Everybody should be paid hourly. Everybody should get overtime pay. That is just the rule. It's not Ying don't care about you and making you fail. I care about you, but I want you to know the rules, right? And hourly employee work hours need to be tracked weekly. That is another thing I want you to think. When you know who is hourly, their time need to be tracked weekly. Even if you want to pay them bi-weekly, monthly, semi-monthly, it doesn't matter. It is still calculated weekly. So if you break your pay period in the middle of the week, you have to reconsider that week again once you pass and to see whether there's overtime. Then you will pay the overtime in the next pay period, right? That is really important. And I know nobody likes to punch in time cards. It's just so demoralizing. But it take away the pride. Come on. There is just right or wrong and no pride or not pride in workplace. So we just want to make sure that you, small business owner, you're doing the right thing. So implement weekly time tracking system. And do your EAP meet the current wages threshold. So now you know that you have hourly, you have people exempted. Then the exempted people, do they meet the wage threshold? So that you need to look. That's your number 3. So are you counting on non-discretionary bonus or employee provided lodging to meet wage requirement? Don't do that. Don't do that. If you are, and make sure that you come to talk to your professional folks, come to talk to community CPA, engage our firm for just an hour consultation, figure out what is the right thing to do. It's nothing wrong to figure out what's the right thing to do. If you're still, behind the scene, I don't know you, and you just decided that even though I know what's the right things to do, I'm just not going to take a chance and see what the government is going to do with me. Well, that's your choice, right? But still, it doesn't matter which choice you take. We want you to know the rules. Knowingly to make a mistake is different from not knowingly make a mistake, right? So we want every of our small business to survive. We really don't want you to be penalized by the government. Then we, as much as we consider ourselves so well doing, we know the rules, we know the knowledge, but there are times we simply cannot save. We can't, because the fact is already there and you already did what you do. But just say, I don't know, or I don't speak English, so I didn't really do it. That's not a reason to get any letter penalties from the government. So what should a small business owner expect? More DOL audit. Yes, expect that. More DOL audit. And more payroll expense to budget, to plan. Okay? More entitlement from the workforce. Because these kind of rules are coming from the government, it's not coming from the business doing well, the owner wanting to reward people who are working with them. It is coming from the government will carry the negative negative kind of spirit into your workplace. So it will help the workforce to feel entitled, and it will make employer feel that they're on the opposite side of the employee, which is, for me, from my standpoint, is so not true. Every small business owner I work with are treating their people like their own. Every one of them. But this rule here, it is separating the two group of people and creating entitlement on one end and forcing employer to make decisions that may not be really beneficial to the business, to the employee. Potential to destroy your workplace culture, this kind of rules come through. So you just have to, make that a norm as punching time card. And some states also gonna make changes too, based on Department of the Labor's way of doing things. They will make certain rules, making more generous rules for employees and forcing the private sectors to abide by the rules. So you have, your private business owners are really facing the challenge coming from the government and calling for higher expenses while they may be already struggling with their business. And you must increase employees' pay. So you would either charge more to your customer or finding ways to replace human beings with machines, right? These are the only ways to do it. Otherwise, how are you going to meet those requirements if you don't make it? So, of course, if nothing works, small business just fold. So this is where we are right now as we speak. So should small business expect all of these things to happen? Yes. You should not, but you are facing those kind of challenges right now. So related to this, folks, it is the independent contractor misclassification related to a related audit. And it is a current trend that the federal government and the state government are assessing employment taxes on misclassified independent contractors. So DOL updated 1099 rules January 2024, just this year. Construction industry has always been targeted, right? We knew that. Now nail salon seems to be a new target industry. So DOL has a flyer on nail salon workers to educate them of their right and their entitlement. The California Labor Commissioner's Office, California, issued a more than $1.2 million wages theft citation. Means that the business owner steal $1.2 million wages from their worker. Okay, this is a nail salon case. A nail salon is called Temecula Nail Salon. Okay, and had $1.2 million in wage theft because they were using 1099, so they reclassified everybody. DOL ordered a Rhode Island nail salon chain, it's a franchise nail salon, to pay $753,500 wages. So these are the things coming in the pipeline, business owners and ladies and gentlemen. So it is something that we should be alert. We should know what we are facing or what our clients are facing so that we can be in the better position to help them. So our firm, we have these following partners. And, let me just introduce them to you. Dr. Hao is our governmental regulation rules, laws, and scholar, analyst. He actually will break down all of these boring legal readings into rules for our accountant, our firm to follow. So a lot of these slides that you see I was talking about is coming from the hands of Dr. Hao and interpreting that into our own Chinglish, right? So that everybody would understand. And Dan is our partner for business consultation, license, permit, ownership transfer kind of things. And the Song is a Spanish client service, tax audit consultation partner. And then you have Kwan, specialized in payroll. And then Derek is IT. So you have our partners here, and you can go online to book our time to talk to us, especially related to today's topic. It's a pretty heavy topic, and I'm not super pleased with that. It's not, but remember I said that it doesn't really matter. You know, whether Ying likes it or not, it doesn't really matter. The fact is, it's becoming the final ruling. So it is coming to effect on July 1st. So our job is not to waste our energy, like it or not like it. Our job is just simply focus on the result, on the ruling, and helping our client to be in compliance, and helping our client to make the right decision whether we should be doing what with the labor force and letting people go, or just what should we do, right? So with that said, I hope you enjoy our candid discussion with you. And this is our email, Catherine@communitycpa.com. You can always email her to get a hold of me or to get a hold of our other partners to get your situation understood. And starting from today, for every day of the future, I want to see our small business to recognize the importance of following the rules, be in compliance. And it is not a playground for people to disregard the rules, because sooner or later you will taste the failure because of that. And I want you to be successful, and I want you to follow us to know what to do and to be preventative of failing and be compliant, understand the rules. But at the same time, we know that the rule could be upheld in the court. So we at least know that July 1st is here. Make sure that you get July 1st prepared. All right. I will talk to you again. Apologize for the beginning of the delay, but we will always be here at 3 p.m. Tuesday and Saturday is my time, and Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday is the Chinese webinar and done by Dr. Hao mainly. And then on Friday is Song, who is another partner of ours. You saw his picture, and he will do that in Spanish. So we try to relate the knowledge to you in different languages to cover more demographics out there, so you can subscribe to our channel, be a follower for our Community CPA channel on YouTube. I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.